Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Friday staple of the crossover, bringing you the latest goings-ons in the National Basketball Association. Today, we're going to talk about who needs the number one seed in the Eastern Conference more. We're going to do some predictions on some awards, and then we're going to get into some GOAT talk that TJ will talk about with us a little bit later. Of course, I'm David Huffman. Right there is TJ Hopkins. And if you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter/Twitch, Prime Sports World is a pretty good place to be. We go live about 5 or 6 times a week, bringing the most up-to-date content. I also want to thank our friends over there at Bruce Bear for sponsoring us here at Prime Sports World. Let your presence be felt. Go ahead and check out their spring collection. I'll drop a link to their website on our Facebook page, along with the NBA Supreme Facebook page as well. Happy Friday, TJ. Man, I love a good Friday, man. Especially I've had a long week, man. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, Friday is always good. Even whether you work all day or you work all night, Friday it's still Friday. So
Yeah, so there's something about when you wake up on a Friday, everything's kind of the food tastes better, the air smells fresher. It's just a good day.
it is.
So let's get into our main topics here for today. The first one is the battle for the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And we'll talk about who needs it more. The current standings are right there. The Miami Heat are 49-28, Bucks 48-28, 47-30 for the Celtics. Sixers are 46-30. Um,
40.
who do you think needs the number one seed more in the Eastern Conference of these four teams? I apologize to all the Bull fans in the world. I do not think they have a shot at getting the number one seed. I also apologize to all the surging Toronto Raptor fans. They're not getting the one seed either. So these are the four teams that have a shot at it.
Who needs them? All four of them. Like they all four equally need the number one seed. Like it's. I'm if I'm the Heat, I hit a snide. I am 5-5 in my last 10. Two of those five losses are to Philly with no Embiid and no Harden,
And then the
and
Warriors without
to the
Curry.
Warriors without their big three. Right? If I'm the Bucks, I am 7-3 in my last 10, but I'm also the defending champion. So if I don't get the one seed, it's not the end of the world. Right? Boston is 7-3 in their last 10, losing two straight. They're also playing. They've also won. What was it, 23 out of the last 26 games or some shit like that?
Well, before this losing streak, I think they were 24 out of the last 26 games before they lost two in a row. So I guess they're 24 of 28 last, basically since the beginning.
And Philly is 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost three in a row, with last night losing to the Detroit Pistons, which you just don't do that. Like if you're the 76ers and you have championship aspirations, because these are the four teams who have like I'm Bulls fan here. We weren't like we're not winning the chip this year. It is what it is. Like I'm first off, you can't, like, people was calling the Bulls pretenders. I'm like, y'all the whole offseason said DeRozan was a bad signing, and the minute a little adversity, y'all want to call the Bulls pretenders. No, I want y'all to keep that same energy y'all had since week one. These four teams right here have championship aspirations. Boston just got off to a horrible start. They finally clicking, and out of these four teams here, like I think that it's equally needed amongst the four of them. Milwaukee being the exception because their show travels on the road. I think Milwaukee's fine no matter what seed they get.
My honest opinion. So I asked this. So I teach the elementary school. I asked a bunch of my students the same question yesterday while we were in class. I think it's the Heat. I look at the Miami Heat. I look at their roster. I think this is a team that benefits from having that South Beach, because I think Boston travels too. I mean, they're a gritty defensive team. The loss of Robert Williams hurts them. Um, but Miami, I mean, they're like when I look at their roster, like I'm a little bit shocked that they're like, I know that they have some good players, but Kyle Lowry is getting up there in age. Others getting up there in age. The only really
PJ
young,
Tucker.
yeah, PJ Tucker's really like NBA. I mean, he's got a ton of miles on his tank. Um, it's just the Miami Heat. I think they need this more. I think they need to finish the season with a good morale because the morale in Miami right now cannot be extremely high. We went into depth and like Jimmy Butler's all of his percentages are down. It wouldn't even shock me if it wasn't next year if they
I
don't
mean,
win.
if you said Miami, I can make the argument that Philly needs it more too, right? Like they've had playoff runs in prematurely too, right?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't they the number one seed last year?
That is a good question. I would have to look that up.
I'll look it up
Uh,
in a second.
but you have a perennial MVP candidate in Joel Embiid, right? Like the only one out of these two, like the only other one on these out of these 4 teams to have a person in the MVP conversation is Milwaukee, and that's Giannis. So it's literally like Jason Tatum. Again, the surge is great, but because you got off to that horrible start, you're playing great now. What the hell happened the first 40 games of the season?
I mean, yeah,
Right.
I mean, this like
You're
they
the
should have
same
been playing like this the entire season. Like
the
I don't.
entire season. You're the same team. You made one move at the deadline. You traded out one person. Literally just one person. That's it. Milwaukee, Miami. Jimmy Butler's solid. Jimmy Butler's never going to be in any kind of MVP conversation ever. He is what he is at this point in his career.
Yeah, he's a
Right?
tough nosed player. You know, he can run your offense, facilitate a little bit. He's not going to be an overly efficient shooter by any means
But
at all.
but Joel Embiid is to many the second coming of Shaquille O'Neal. Efficient in the paint, a load to handle in the paint, can shoot the three, and is not and needs more credit as a defender than he gets.
True. I mean, he's an extremely good defender.
He's an extremely good defender. Like he just wows people so much on the other end that his defense is just overlooked. But for for Philly to be 46-30, losing games like they had to the Detroit Pistons, there's just more at stake for Philly, right? Like you switched out what is his name? What was his name? The coach before Doc.
Uh, oh my God. Brett Brown. Yeah, Brett Brown.
Yeah, like you swapped Brett Brown for Doc Rivers because you thought Doc could get you over the hump. Right? You lost last year prematurely to a Hawks team. Quite frankly, with Ben Simmons struggles, you had no business losing to. You shouldn't have lost to the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Eastern Conference semis, had no business losing to them whatsoever. So if you come up short this year, right, it's gonna be questions all the way around because last year y'all put all the blame on Ben Simmons. He's gone. Ben's gone, so you can't use him as a scapegoat this year if you come up short. So if
I
y'all
also
come,
think that argument is interesting because of all four of these teams, look at the way they're built. All of their main components are locked up past. When it comes to Philadelphia, the James Harden scenario is
James
still
Harden can
there.
leave if
Like
he
he
wants
could
to.
still walk next offseason if he wants to. He never opted into. He never filed the paperwork early enough to like log into his contract, so he could essentially decline that player option and become a free agent if they don't. I actually think that's a pretty good. I think I'm gonna change my vote now. I'm gonna take the Sixers too. Actually, I've been changing my vote entirely. I was sold because I think Miami on the floor needs it more, but I think if things were to go south in, in Philadelphia, I think that would have the most ramifications. Even though I think Miami, if they were to go, if things were to go south there, I think Jimmy Butler won't be on
No, and for all of for all that drama that Miami was talked about for like 2 days, it's swept under the rug now. Right? Like it's
Yeah, I mean they
I
won two straight. I mean winning solves all. Like when you're losing games the way they were losing them in the fashion they were losing them, yeah, there's going to be some tension. I mean,
they
an
didn't
NBA
just
locker room.
and one of those wins just wasn't any kind of win. Like they went to Boston and beat Boston in Boston.
Yep.
Right? Boston
I
has
mean, they beat
been
the Kings by 23 points. I mean, what do you think about the Kings?
and so yeah, if Philly comes up short this go round, it's gonna be some it's gonna have to be some eye pointing and it's gonna have to be some soul searching the whole go round. All right, we're gonna have to start talking about Joel Embiid because Joel Embiid is great, but you can't keep coming up short in the playoffs.
He's going to end up in that same conversation with Tracy McGrady, all those other players that never made it to the finals, even though they were on basketball teams. I mean, like Chris Paul up until last season.
Up
Like
until
those
last season,
conversations are going to start to creep into his narrative, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
You guys talking about Joel Embiid or James
yeah,
Harden?
both.
Well, so right now we're actually talking about who you think in the Eastern Conference is the number one seed for between those four teams on the screen right now.
Well, no, I just kind of want to chime in because I kind of caught that end of that conversation with Embiid and
I mean, you can make I think James Harden
McGrady.
is too. Both of those guys are
Yeah,
have that
Harden,
narrative.
both of them. Yeah, I would say both of them. I think we have to more or less compare Embiid to guys like Shaq, Bill Walton, Kareem, the big guys.
I'm not sure about yet.
Lou
I mean,
we'll have to compare him to Moses Malone, all the big guys in the league that ever got their teams a championship. That's where Embiid stands. James Harden, he's standing there with Tracy McGrady and all those other guys, in my opinion. So,
also joining us here on the show, CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Ezra Rivera. How you doing, man?
Beautiful. I'm doing great, guys. Beautiful day.
So we were just talking about number one seed, who needs it more in the Eastern Conference. PJ actually swayed my vote, so I'm actually taking Philadelphia. I think they need the number one seed more. I was leaning towards Miami before TJ, made his argument and convinced me otherwise. How about you? Who do you think needs that number one seed more in the Eastern Conference?
Oh, who needs that number one seed in the East? I'm gonna have to go. Guys, it's a close race, but yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Philly is gonna need that. Just because of the fact they're gonna need that. They're gonna want to feed up that crowd. I don't think the Heat can compete with the Bucks or the Sixers. I think the Celtics are a non-factor in my opinion. So I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks. I'm gonna have to go with the with the Sixers trying to be number one seed. It's more important for them. Just because they fell short last year, they need that home court advantage. So it's gonna be important against Milwaukee too if they play some.
I agree with you. Moving on from that, we're talking about some awards. This is our final prediction show where we predict who's going to take home the final awards, and we're also going to do the Prime Sports World MVP. So let's talk about who do you think is going to be the MVP when it's all said and done. Those are some of the candidates there on the list. I have not updated this graph since the last time we ran a show, so I should add Jason Tatum on there. But most valuable player, who are we talking about? Who do you think is going to eventually take home this award?
Joker.
I actually think it's going to be the Joker too. I was all in on the Joel Embiid bandwagon, but I actually think the word like James Harden getting there has actually hurt his MVP candidacy. Nikola Jokic has been the best player in the league with nothing else around him. You look at the plus the players on that Nuggets team right now without Jamal Murray, without MPJ, it's not that good of a roster. The fact that he has them as the 5 or 6 seed in the Western Conference, pretty damn impressive. I actually agree with you on that. I think it's
now. I'm not gonna punish. I'm not gonna punish Joel Embiid for having a superstar teammate in James Harden because if that's the case, like Jason Tatum, he's added his name to the conversation. Then he should be disqualified for having Jaylen Brown as his teammate.
Okay, but I just think Joel Embiid,
No,
Jokic's been more important to it.
You're not wrong. Like, but Joker has been more important to the Nuggets. Like, if you take
how many wins would the Nuggets have if they didn't have?
They
Jokic?
would be a lottery team. If you take
I think the lottery team is being generous. They would be the worst team in the NBA.
I'd give them a lottery, and I think they still be a lottery team. If you take Giannis,
I mean, yeah, they're the worst team in the NBA.
But like, if you take Giannis off of Milwaukee,
they're a playoff team.
You're taking Giannis off. They're still a playoff team. If you take Embiid off of Philly, if it's just Harden, Thibault, Maxey, and
they're
Tobias
probably
Harris,
still a borderline fan.
They're probably still a borderline playoff team. They're probably like in the playing game. So that's funny that you brought that up about Giannis. If Giannis wasn't in Milwaukee, somebody brought that up to me last night and said, "Do you think if Giannis wasn't there, will Middleton score more? Would he take on the board and would the Bucks be a playoff team?" I said, "Yes, yes, and yes." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Middleton's gonna get more shots. Yes, they're gonna be a playoff team in the East, and yes, he's gonna score more. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, you guys both went with Jokic. There's a lot of guys that are, John Morant is playing at an MVP level. DeMar DeRozan was playing. He just dropped 50 yesterday, but the Bulls kind of slid. He was the top candidate, right? Obviously, but then they slid down to what, the 6th seed now or the 5th seed?
They're the 5
Fifth
seed
Uh,
right now.
yeah, they're the 5 seed now.
They're only a game and a half back. Still up.
Yeah. So if somehow, some way, DeMar DeRozan, has another stretch down this stretch, and the Bulls maybe win, 9 or 10. How many more games they got left?
No, there's only like 5
7.
games. DeMar DeRozan's not gonna win.
No,
He's
I know. But I'm just saying, he's not gonna win it, but he could come close in the voting. So he may have a shot. If he scoring 40 every night down the stretch, maybe possibly, and the Bulls get back up to like the 3rd or the 2nd seed, possibly. But I don't see that happening. So yeah, Jokic and Embiid are probably the top 2 candidates in my opinion.
I think Giannis has really inserted himself in the discussion as well. I mean, they've been playing really good basketball as of late. I think Giannis is the clear cut. I think when it comes to 1, 2, 3, I think it's Embiid, Jokic, Giannis. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and I agree with TJ. Embiid should not be disciplined for them adding Harden late in the season. So if I'm gonna have to go to MVP candidate, he was playing at an MVP level just as well as Jokic. Give me Embiid to win this MVP award.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm still going Joker. Like John Morant, yeah, he's playing at the MVP level, but the fact that the Grizzlies are 18-2 without him does not help his case the way people think it does.
I mean, also he's missed, so he's gonna miss basically the last 2 weeks of the year. He missed like a month earlier, or 2 or 3 weeks earlier. I just don't think he's gonna play enough plan. Whoever else is probably gonna be part of that conversation. So let's talk about our own MVP. Who do you think is somebody who's not going to win the MVP should give a little bit of shine?
Being the home DeMar. Like literally, this is minus him, Lonzo, and Caruso. Well, and throw Javonte Green in there too. Like minus those 4 guys, this is the same roster from a year ago that won 20-some games. Right? For him to be called the worst free agent signing this past offseason, to go from that to at some point was a top 3 MVP candidate, and it's still in the conversation. Like to me, it's DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'll take Karl Anthony Towns. I think how valuable he's been to a surging Minnesota Timberwolves team. Yeah, give me Karl Anthony.
Well, his is one.
He's finally starting to put it all together, becoming a more versatile all around player. And Minnesota's been good.
Karl Anthony Towns has turned into a dog this season. And I think you could think a lot of that with maybe like Pat Bev, kind of bringing that dog, that toughness to Minnesota, the right type of toughness, right? Because there's different type of guys. I mean, like Jimmy Butler, tries to push those guys, but it's probably in a more aggressive way. So I'm not sure what happened there, but he has evolved.
The organization stepped in. That's what happened.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to go with TJ. I was already explaining DeMar DeRozan. He was on a level amongst guys like Kareem. You know what I mean? Amongst top 3 players ever to play this game, right? The type of streak that he was on. So I got to give him some love in terms of the MVP, race. Especially if he comes down here, like I said, last few games, and scoring 40 a game. I mean, he could come close into the MVP race, like top 3, at least top 4.
Moving on from MVP, we got Most Improved Player of the Year. The candidates right there on the list: Desmond Bain, John Morant, Miles Bridges, Anthony Simons, DeJounte Murray, Darius Garland. Name our own Improved Player of the Year. Gentlemen, who do you think is going to end up being the Most Improved Player of the Year when it's all said and done?
Ooh, Ja.
Man.
I'm going Ja. Like he's added his
He's
name
got to
to
win
the
some
MVP.
type of award.
He's added his name to the MVP conversation, but he ain't gonna win it. It's Ja. Ja's the most improved.
Yeah.
I
So I
agree
was
with you
gonna
on that
say,
100%. John Morant, I
yeah.
mean,
So
his overall feel, everything about his game has improved. He's become a better leader. He's become a better facilitator. He's become a better floor general. John Morant is going to win it Most Improved Player of the Year.
yeah,
And it's
he's
crazy
gonna
to
win
think
it.
about a guy who averaged the numbers that he averaged last to increase all of it across the board. It's just like we talked about this. I think like with Zach Levine, we talked about Zach Levine potentially winning Most Improved Player of the Year, and I was like, he's not going to do enough to improve his numbers. And John Morant kind of was like, yeah, I'm going to improve my numbers, show you what movement. John Morant's the most improved player, and then no slouches to Darius Garland, who's been awesome this season, Dejounte Murray, or even Miles Bridges. John Morant's been the most.
Yeah. You guys picked John Morant. I agree with both of you guys. We could easily go with his teammate Desmond Green as well. He's improved as well, but John Morant's improved much more, on a much more trajectory. But if I had to pick a second player, that's probably behind him, Miles Bridges. He's improved in every single category as well for Charlotte. They're just not, they're not probably going to make the playoffs. But Miles Bridges definitely should get consideration right there for the most improved player this year.
Yeah, and if you had to pick somebody who is not going to win Most Improved,
Or DeJounte Murray. Because he became an all-star this year. First time all-star. Definitely being the most improved player, consideration as well.
so who are going to be your most our own personal Most Improved Player?
Me personally is Reggie Jackson. Like no Kawhi, no Paul George for
1.
90% of the season. And he's improved his numbers to 17. I think he's averaging 17, 4, and 4. I think. I mean,
And on
it's
top of that, I mean, Reggie Jackson, this is the guy that on it, and now he's like, kind of reaching renaissance. Going to LA, having that playoff run.
and the Clippers have him on a. The Clippers have him on a really like this is like the most team friendly deal you can get without it being virtually free. Right? Like he could have signed for way more money elsewhere, and he chose to stay in LA. So me personally, I would say Reggie Jackson, and not to mention he did like I just watched him last night. The guy dropped 34, right, in a game the Clippers should have won. But
For sure. We definitely that should be a game that you definitely should have won, like without a doubt. For me, it's Desmond Bain. You take this kid, had a solid rookie season, but his jump from year 1 to year 2 has really been something to watch. He went from 9.2 points a game to 18.2. All of his percentages across the board are up outside of field goal percentage, where he's only down 0.9, which is not a lot. His field goal percentage, free throw percentage is up, his rebounding is up, his assists are up, his blocks are up, his steals are up. Everything about his game is up. And it's a testament to putting in work and putting in a lot of work on the offseason. He's become a reliable second fiddle to John Morant, even because Dylan Brooks has been out for a big portion of the season. So I mean,
yeah,
Desmond Bain's been forced to step into that number 2 role, and he's done a really good job. And he's become kind of what a lot of people thought that he was going to be when they drafted him. So yeah, Desmond Bain is my personal most important player.
and Reggie Jackson improved from 10 points a game last season to like I said 17, and then he went on that great playoff run where he averaged like 18 a game for the playoffs, and then he just was able to carry that over to the regular season. I don't know if you know. Well, I know for a fact, like Kawhi being gone, definitely has some pull in that. But I thought Paul George going down, like we basically wrote the Clippers off when Paul George was out. Like we was like no Paul George and Kawhi, and you in the tougher conference, like and you in the West. Like we did not expect the Clippers to still be in the position that they're in. And Reggie
I agree with you. I mean, they clinched the play in like the Clippers. The fact that they're in the playoffs, a
is
testament to hope.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a miracle. Izzy, most improved.
Yeah, most improved player for me has got to be Miles Bridges. He's improved dramatically from year 1 to what is this? What year 4? No, year 3, year
Year
4.
3.
So give me Miles Bridges. The year 3. Yeah, yeah. Give me Miles Bridges. He's averaging over what? He's averaging what? 20, close to 20 a game, or a little bit over 20 a game. Like 6 rebounds or so, a couple assists. But yeah,
He
he's
is
definitely
currently
my most
averaging
improved player.
20
20.3.
points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds a game right now.
Yeah, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. That's great, bro. So give me Miles Bridges, man. I have loosely compared him to VC, which I got grilled on here for. So I'm always getting grilled on here for my comparisons. So it's all
Uh,
good. But
uh,
Miles Bridges is my most improved player.
If
Moving on from
any,
that, we got the Sixth Man of the Year award.
yeah.
I think this is going to be, it should be borderline unanimous. Tyler Hero is going to be the Sixth Man of the Year. Like, this is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you can make an argument for anybody else, I'll.
No, it's Tyler
There is
Hero.
no argument for nobody else.
I mean, if Caruso didn't miss as much time as he did, he would have an argument. But even then, Tyler Hero has just been so spectacular. I think he
Consistent.
would. I think he and consistent. I think he still would have won it had Caruso not missed time or not.
Honestly,
Tyler Hero's been
Tyler
awesome.
Hero should be a starter. He should be a starter. He should be a starter.
He's the most important offensive player on Miami right
Yeah, he should be a starter. He shouldn't become out. He should be a starter, but he's playing kind of starter minutes. So
now. He does play. He plays 31, 30. He basically plays 32 minutes a night. So he plays starter minutes, but yeah,
yeah,
he comes
starter
off.
minutes. Starter
For me,
minutes.
my Sixth Man of the Year, I'm just gonna give a little shout out to Kevin Love. The dude, he's getting a ton of money. He's coming off their bench. He's mentoring those young guys on that team. And he kind of revived his standing in the league. Like, I know, like last season, he was that was a tough stretch for him, like where he just wasn't looked fondly upon when it comes to the league, and like he's done a good job rebuilding his character and rebuilding his reputation among the league, and good for him. So yeah, give me
Well,
Kevin Love.
well, he and what's his name? The coach that they had before JB Bickerstaff took over.
Oh, you're talking
They,
about the kid from Michigan.
the guy from Michigan.
Uh,
They
his name is escaping me too. I don't
Jim Boeheim. No, what's
know.
John Beeline.
John
it.
Beeline.
Yeah,
Beeline.
John
Yeah,
Beeline. That's his name.
him and those two did not mesh at all, and that was a horrible coaching decision, coaching
Match.
hire on the Cavaliers' point. Like, you hired at the time, a 68-year-old, 67-year-old, how old he was, to be a rookie head coach when
John
he
Beeline was
spent
68 years old when he got the
he was
job.
68 years old when you first got the job after spending 30 plus years in
40,
college basketball.
40.
40 plus years in college
He
basketball.
He became the head coach
Mm-hmm.
of Erie
Erie Community College,
in 1978.
all the way up to Michigan. So from
All the way up to
78
Michigan. I think he was the.
from 78
What?
to 2019, bro. That was just horrible. Like, and that's
He
why
was
the
the.
cat. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, wasn't he the? He was the head coach before he got that Michigan job. Wasn't he the head coach of Vermont? When they beat, if I'm not
West
mistaken, they
Virginia.
beat
No, he was at West
Syracuse in
Virginia.
that first
He was
round.
at
Yeah, so
he was at
he was at Richmond, he was at West Virginia, then he was at Michigan for 12 years. But yeah, Kevin Love deserves a little bit of a shout out for his season.
he didn't even make it 1 year in the NBA. Like,
No, he didn't. He didn't even
that
make it a
was
full.
just that was terrible.
He had an Urban Meyer-esque tenure in the NBA.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
even make it. He didn't even make a year. He didn't even make it a year with the Cavs. But I mean, he was a solid college coach. But anyways, yeah, it's if I had to pick a player, again, other than Tyler Hero, I mean, we can look at Jordan Clarkson again. I mean, he's been pretty good.
He's having
I
a
mean,
down season. All his percentages across
yeah,
the
I mean,
board
we can
are
look. Yeah.
like
I mean, he averaged 18. What did he average? 18 last year or something like that. He's down like 16. We can look at Kelly Oubre as well. I mean,
Kelly Oubre has been
but
pretty valuable for the
yeah,
Hornets.
yeah, exactly. So, um, Tyler Hero is gonna win it regardless. So it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
I agree with you. Uh,
Yeah.
DJ, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Defensive Player of the Year. There's the candidates on the screen there: Giannis, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Evan Mobley, Joel Embiid. Also, Mikal Bridges should be on this list, and he is actually my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. He has been the best wing defender in the league this year. I did not. I'm not sure he's getting enough chatter for how important he's been to that Phoenix Suns team. Not only has he not missed a game, but he usually takes the best defensive matchup every single night. He also has improved on the offensive end of the ball. Give me, Mikal Bridges is my Defensive Player of the Year. I am tired of this award going to whoever blocks the most shots in a game every year.
Hey, look who you sound like. You
Yeah, right.
sound
Yeah.
just like me. That is great.
Give it,
I'm
Mikal
going-
Bridges is my.
I'm going. No, Draymond Green should be out of here, like out of the list. He's missed way too many games
Mhm.
to
The
even to even qualify for the award. I'm going Marcus Smart.
did you like legit just delete
Yes.
his name and then put Mikal Bridges in there? Are you kidding me? What? Oh my god, that's a first.
I'm going Marcus Smart and it's the same thing that Mikal Bridges is like. Marcus Smart takes the opposing team's number one option, right? And no, never mind. He takes the team's number one option. He has been he has been just as crucial as Robert Williams and others to this Celtics resurge, right? Also, I think Marcus Smart probably won't win it. I don't think any Celtic probably will win it because just like Jason Tatum and MVP talk, same thing for any Celtic up for any other award. You're playing great now. What happened earlier this season, right? Y'all were the 11th seed. That wasn't that long ago.
No, I mean we're talking months ago. They were like floundering at 500.
That's not that long ago. So I think that's what's gonna hurt them in any award, any kind of all team NBA consideration. Like I get that whole I hate the people that use the argument. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Like no, like that's not how that works. Right? that is not how it works at all. But I can't argue with Mikal Bridges winning this award. He should win it. From start to finish, Phoenix has been the best team in basketball.
So I'm looking at defensive ratings, and defensive ratings. Rudy Gobert currently has the number one defensive rating of this season.
Okay.
And then Joel Embiid is number 3. So and Mikal Bridges is kind of down there. And Marcus Smart's in the middle. I don't think guards are going to win this award. So give me Rudy Gobert for the win again.
I would hate that. I'd rather Giannis get it.
It's going to happen. He's got the best defensive rating as a player. If they were to decide to give it to somebody else, as opposed to not giving it to Rudy Gobert, Joel Embiid is going to win it. So,
for our own personal defensive player of the year, I'm actually going to go Robert Williams. I know he's hurt, so he's going to miss the remainder of this season, maybe the first round of the playoffs. But Robert Williams has been really important to what the Celtics are doing on defense. Their returns directly connected to their defensive efficiency, which is up across the board when it comes to their defensive effort, their efficiency, plus or minus. Robert Williams has become the anchor of that team. I think Robert Williams. Shout out.
True. And are we skipping over Al Horford?
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Got the second best defensive rating this season.
And okay,
as a player, second best player defensive rating this season.
That's why I hate analytics, David. Analytics allow people who never played a sport to have include themselves in the conversation. Defensive rating means absolutely nothing. Like that sounds like Skip Bayless using defensive win shares, which is literally a made up stat, to make his argument as to why this player is a good defender or not a good defender. Like that stuff is stupid. Eye test. What does your eye test tell you? Right? Every time I see Rudy Gobert on the perimeter in the mismatch, he get his ass crossed and he get blown by. That's not defense.
He's a center, bro. He's supposed to anchor the paint. So
Defensive player. Okay, the defensive player of the year. There's a reason the guy on the award is in a defensive stance. He's not standing up, jumping up straight with his arm in the air, blocking the shot. He's not doing
I'm
that.
telling you, I'm being
He's
realistic.
he's sitting
I'm
in the
being
chair.
realistic.
He's sitting in the
I'm not.
chair. He's
I'm
sitting in
this is
the
the
chair.
first time. This is the first time I'm going to be realistic on this show instead of spurting out bull crap. Rudy Gobert or Joel Embiid is going to win this
He's
award.
sit. Mikal Bridges.
Mikael Bridges. I'm going with Mikael Bridges too. Moving on here, we got the Rookie of the Year. Evan Mobley, Josh Giddey, Scott Barnes, Franz Wagner. Cade Cunningham's had a bit of resurgence in the second half of this season. Jalen Green as well, playing much better over the last month or so of the season. Who do you think, though, should be the Rookie of the Year? And do you think this could be unanimous as well?
To me, it should be Evan Mobley. He's the only rookie on this list playing meaningful basketball. And
Scotty Barnes not playing meaningful basketball.
I said what I said. I said what I said. I said what I said.
Come on,
I said
bro.
what I said. I said what I said. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley had at one point during this season was a borderline all-star. Evan Mobley's been the best. Like he passes the eye test. He's crucial what they're doing there in Cleveland. I know he's missing time. Yeah, Scotty Barnes is playing well though, but yeah, my vote's.
I'm going Evan Mobley.
Cool, true. Yeah, no, I mean he's been great. I'll go against you guys. Because I'll go against you guys on this one, and I'll go ahead and pick Scotty Barnes for this award. I actually think Scotty Barnes is going to take that next step and possibly be an All-Star candidate next year. So, but yeah, give me Scotty Barnes for the win on this award. But Cade Cunningham has come back strong though.
He's averaging over the last month. He's averaging over.
You talking about next year? Evan Mobley was an All-Star candidate this year, like literally this year. Evan Mobley was he was getting All-Star votes, man.
And for a guy that won't win the award, but should get some consideration for
fans or players,
Franz Wagner is my vote. The dude's been awesome. And if the Magic could draft over, they would have taken him over Jalen Suggs. That's how good.
They probably wouldn't even take Jalen Suggs.
They probably wouldn't have. So, just saying.
Just saying. I'm literally just. I mean, I'm just saying stuff to say stuff. You know, if you're obviously if you're Orlando, you're looking towards the future, right? I seen mocks Izzy with them getting Jabari Smith. And if Jabari Smith falls to the Orlando Magic, wherever they pick in the lottery, if Jabari Smith is there, and that's going to be nasty. Like, Orlando going to be nasty. With Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaacs is coming back.
Jalen Suggs.
Jalen Suggs might be fighting for a rotation spot, man. I am so serious. Bro, I am serious. I am so serious. I think Markelle Fultz has found his niche as a sixth man, but as far as like starting, Jalen Suggs he gonna be fighting. He gonna be fighting for his NBA life as a starter in the NBA.
I agree with that because Magic they have so many players.
They gonna have so many young players, right? Somebody gonna have to bite that bullet and take that L and fall out the rotation. Yeah. Prime Sports World Rookie of the Year. I like Josh Giddey. I mean, it sucks that he's out right now. He's out for the rest of the season. But Josh Giddey went from question mark draft pick to okay, yeah,
a building block.
Yeah. Oh, it's like okay, Shorty gonna be nice.
Izzy, who's your vote?
If I had to go with a vote, for Rookie of the Year here down the stretch, it's got to be Cade Cunningham. I mean, kids, he's what did you say he's averaging the last month? Over 28 games?
20 points.
And 20 points a game. And then the other night, the guy had 5 points in the first half or something like that. Then he exploded for like 29 or something like that in the second half.
He's talented. That's all get up. I mean,
he's
over the last 10 games, he averaged 22 points a game, 8 assists, and like basically 4 rebounds. Like he's been awesome.
Yeah, he's been awesome. I mean, and he's averaging, like I said, I think he's averaging the most points for the rookie class this year. He's got 5 rebounds, 5 assists. The kid's gonna be a stud. Give me Cade Cunningham. If I had to choose another player outside of whoever, Scotty Barnes. And I probably would even put Cade Cunningham ahead of Scotty Barnes, in my opinion. Just looking at the
The thing is,
stats, just looking at the last
I
month of the
just hate when
season.
like rookies come in, like they kind of flounder for the first couple months, like the dog days of the
Mm-hmm.
playoff. Like he just has crazy numbers because nobody cares anymore. His green light is like
Right.
his green is against.
It was kind of like it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, like last season, right, with Anthony Edwards a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, the final award we got Coach of the Year: Billy Donovan, Taylor Jenkins, Monte Williams, JB Bickerstaff, Chris Finch.
Oh, this is an easy one. This is an
And
easy
then
one.
Prime Sports World Coach of the Year. And this one, I think I think Monte Williams deserves this. They've been wire to wire the best team in the NBA.
Yeah,
Monty Williams, but you can also look at Taylor Jenkins too.
Nah,
Yeah.
you can look at Taylor Jenkins, but I'm giving it to the guy who has 62 wins.
The best record. You right.
And you can make the argument that he was robbed of it last year with them giving the award to Tibbs, who is probably going to be looking for another job after this season because the Knicks are officially eliminated from. Well, they've been eliminated for. They've been
He probably
eliminated
shouldn't
for a
even
while
get another
now.
job. He should be an assistant coach moving forward. But anyway, say that.
Tom Thibodeau has a very short shelf life wherever he goes.
But Izzy, the issue with that is, once you've been ahead, it's hard to work for somebody else.
That's true. I can see him working for Doc again.
But
me too. Anyway. I'm giving it to Monte Williams. So, Prime Sports World Coach of the Year. Who do you guys think is going to be the Prime Sports World Coach of the Year? This is the
regular coach of the year was. Yeah, the regular coach of the year was unanimous with Monty Williams. But if I had to pick a Prime Sports World Coach of the Year, it had to be Taylor Jenkins, man. What he's done over there, has been spectacular. So, yeah, go ahead and give me Taylor Jenkins.
Oh, just to be a little bit different, I'm going to give it to Nick Nurse. Actually, the way that he has the Raptors playing over the last couple of years, they've basically stepped out of the play-in tournament. They're now in the conference. Nick Nurse, whenever we thought Toronto was kind of going towards the rebuild, especially how the beginning of the season started, they've slowly crept up the standings, up the rankings, and now they're a playoff team. Nick Nurse has a lot to do with that.
I'm gonna go.
Didn't Taylor Jenkins come from that tree? I'm sorry, TJ. He came from that Nick Nurse Toronto Raptors coach tree. Okay, yeah. So yeah. Taylor, man, he's been just great with Memphis this year. It's just so hard. I mean, so hard to not pick him.
I'm gonna go another Ime Udoka. Even though he got out to it, they was talks we were talking about hey, blowing it up, not necessarily firing him, but getting rid of that duo. Again, David, what was it? 2 months ago, you were the 11th seed. That's not that long ago.
No, we're think about Florida.
And now you're 2 games out of first place. Right? Literally 2 days ago, you were in first place. And you lost 2 straight. And you went from first to third.
I like that pick a lot, actually. And the final segment today for the crossover is the NBA conversation. We're going to do our regular series here, the GOAT Talk. TJ, you want to introduce it and tell me what we're looking at today?
All right. Well, in honor of, the Final Four, I'm doing a special college edition of the GOAT Talk. And, just to be a little fun, be a little different. It's a Duke, North Carolina, rivalry. 2 players from each school one player from each school respectively. And the first player, Duke Blue Devil, his time at Duke lasted from 99 to 02. So 3 years. 99 to 02. Huh?
I'm just trying to get
point guard or small forward.
He was a guard.
Point guard or small forward.
He's a guard.
He's a guard. 99 to 02.
99 to 02. Won the chip in 01. That led Duke to a national championship in 2001. Right?
Jay Williams.
It is Jay Williams.
Okay.
but also you have to recognize, CJ, that Jay Williams team that you mentioned also had Carlos Boozer, also had Mike Dunleavy, also had Treasure Langdon. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Here's the
they
thing.
had a
You can
stacked
say
team, but
that.
Jay Williams
You
was the
can
best.
say that.
He was the
You
best
can
player out of
Saturday was
all
on
of
that
them,
team
though.
too.
Yeah, I feel like you can say that, but like for that team to be stacked, Jay Williams was the one who was National
He
College
was the
Player of
best
the
player on
Year.
the team.
He was
He
a
was the best player on the
two-time.
team.
All right, so who's the other guy? Okay, so we got Jay Williams. All right.
Other guy. So this is the Tar Heel in the group. This is the Tar Heel, right? He was at
He's
North
not deep
Carolina.
into.
He was at North Carolina from David might. I think David might. He was at North Carolina from 05 to 09. So he was a 4-year dude.
Okay.
Right? Won the national championship with North Carolina in 2009. Was the College Player of the Year in 2008. A 3-time All-American from 07 to 09. And he was Freshman of the Year in 06. He was ACC Player of the Year in 08. 4-time first-team All-ACC from 2006 to 2009. ACC Rookie of the Year. ACC All-Freshman Team. And he was ACC Tournament MVP in 2008. His number is retired by North Carolina, just like Jay Williams' number is retired by Duke. Got to point that out.
What position?
He's a power
What
forward.
position? Oh, I know this one. Tyler Hansbrough.
It's Tyler Hansbrough.
Psycho T. We're comparing. So
Psycho T!
So we're just comparing their college careers, right?
Just comparing their college careers, yes.
Psycho T versus Jay Williams.
Psycho T versus Jay Williams.
Just give me Psycho T.
Woo!
That's a tough one.
Psycho
That's a
T,
tough
didn't
one.
when he left college, wasn't he the high? Did he score more points than anybody in the history of the sport?
And he
Right.
leads and I think he has the most made free throws and free throw attempts in ACC history or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I just remember Tyler Hansbrough getting his nose broken, bleeding in his face, mouth all bloody, wipe it off with a towel and come back in and play. That's how that guy was tough as nails. But I'm gonna go with Jay Williams, man. That kid was special, and when he got to the league, he was gonna be special. If it wasn't for a motorcycle accident, I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about us drafting Kirk Heinrich or Ben Gordon because Jay Williams would have took us to another level. So I'm just gonna go with Jay Williams. I think he was the better overall player.
I think it's Psycho T, but I think it's close. And I also agree if Jay Williams hadn't been not a smart human being, maybe things would have been different for the way he's.
So yeah, I mean, like in the light of the Duke North Carolina Final Four matchup, like, hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. This was hard because I already knew that Jay Williams was gonna be a part of this. It was finding somebody who had some kind of criteria to go up against his, because with the age of one and done, like that has been greatly diminished. And so I will find somebody. I'm like, damn, Jay Williams was a 2-time All-American. I will find somebody like, damn, he ain't got, he was a 1-time All-American. I can't do it. Like,
so I like that. I like what you just said. I like what you just said because the age of the one and done has kind of changed the age of like because it used to be like the upperclassman, the junior or the senior that was like the best, that had the most potential would probably be at the top of the draft. Like in this year's draft class, right? Oscar Tshiebwe and O'Shea Abaje probably be like top 10 picks maybe just by their numbers, right? Back in the day. But now it's all about the one and done. If you're in college more than 2 years, your draft stock diminishes tremendously in a way. I wouldn't say tremendously, but it does diminish. So I mean, we look at guys like Chris Duarte, who's like 25 coming into. He's like 20. How old is that guy? He's like the oldest rookie in the league.
He's like 23.
The Brandon Whedon. He's the Brandon Whedon of the NBA. Okay?
Also, one more thing about Jay Williams. The 2001 year that they won the chip, Jay Williams started every game. He didn't miss a game. He started all 39 games.
And people forget, man, for as small as Jay Williams was, he'll come down the lane and put you on a poster. He'll put you on a poster.
But yeah, that's been the
He's
crossover.
an incredible athlete.
Thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned tomorrow. Prime Sports World is going to dabble into the world of professional wrestling as we break down both nights of WrestleMania, making our predictions. You don't want to miss that show. I'm David Hupp, and right there is TJ Hopkins, and of course, CEO of Prime Sports World, Israel Rivera, joining us here at Prime for the crossover. Gentlemen, what we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat. Hey, and for their careers,
Bring the heat every day.
Tyler Hansbrough averaged 20 a game. Jay Williams one tick behind him at 19.3 for a 6'2" guard.
That's insane. I thought you were gonna go forward with a Kansas Villanova go talk, and I was gonna be ready for that one.
That was hard.
We'll save that for another day.
That is hard. Like that was because I was looking at Villanova dudes, and I was like, man, like these. It's like they don't have much. Like they don't have the All-Americans. They don't have like they don't have like the most outstanding players. Like they didn't. It was tough. Fun. Like that would have been like
you can legit make the argument, TJ, that Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson are probably the best players in Villanova history in the last 20. Oh no! I think Kyle Lowry played at Villanova. Kyle Lowry. Bam! There you go.
Kyle Lowry didn't win a national. He didn't win a natty.
He didn't win one like Jalen Brunson didn't win one, right?
Like Jalen Brunson.
There's some players for Villanova and Kansas.
Like, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll also be back on Monday doing some more stuff. So keep locked into Prime Sports World on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. Also on Twitch. We are live on Twitch every once in a while as well. So go ahead and continue checking out that content. I've been David Huppin, Hopkins, Israel Rivera. We will see you guys later. Y'all have a good weekend.
Peace out, guys.